Okay, so before I get started, let's remove this thing. This is a master lock that a lot of people probably have if you guys own fifth wheels with a standard Kingpin. I would probably say that this is one of the lower security devices you can put on your RV, simply because it gives you so much access to the part that actually locks it. So we're going to be removing this today and going with something that is far superior. Hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, so now we're back inside the air conditioning, and I want to show you the new lock that is going on the pin box of this fifth wheel. So you guys that have been following my channel for a while know that Fort Knox Locks has been my go-to source for trailer locks for quite a while. They build a very, very solid product. It's absolutely awesome. It completely kind of entombs or encases your coupler, and it provides a very, very high degree of theft prevention, or at least security. And for the most part, it's gonna keep people who are opportunistic from tampering with your equipment, which is what I think most people are looking for. Anybody with enough time can probably get anything they want if they're dedicated enough or loud enough. That being said, I wanted to go a little bit different direction with this fifth wheel, as well as the new fifth wheel that we have being built for us. If you haven't been following along the conversation and you're wondering what I'm talking about, we actually have another fifth wheel that we are purchasing that will be our fifth wheel that we own, and it's being built for us by a manufacturer that I have yet to reveal. This specific unit is the Van Lee Beacon. This is their top-of-the-line, most luxurious fifth wheel that they make. This thing is absolutely beautiful, and I like to put locks on the kingpins of any of the fifth wheels that we own, or any trailer in general. So the specific brand we're looking at today is from a company called Proven Industries. This is what I would consider to be equal to what Fort Knox Locks offers. There are some differences in terms of approach and design, but overall, Proven Industries builds a phenomenal lock, and it's extremely high security. So you can't compare this to that cheap master lock that I had on there. That cheap master lock has so many different ways that you can get around it, and you could potentially break it off, cut it off. You could get to it very easily. Proven Industries has developed a really, really cool cone type lock system that mounts over your actual kingpin. And what they were able to do for me is actually take my abloy cylinder and replicate it. So they rekeyed an abloy cylinder to match my abloy cylinder that I use on the puck locks I have from Fort Knox Locks, which means the key that unlocks all of my other trailers gets me access to this one as well, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. It's going to give me the ability not to have to carry so many keys around. Don't you guys hate that when you get a new lock and all of a sudden you're trying to figure out where on your keychain it's going to find a home, and if you'll ever remember what that key goes to down the road? Well, the nice thing about the folks over at Proven is they are a very high quality manufacturer, and they use the much, much higher end locking cylinders than many of the systems you might normally pick up at Walmart or you might normally pick up at a store. Very, very cool setup. Again, very, very well built. This thing weighs probably 10 pounds, maybe a little bit less, but man, it is just a tank. And check out those welds. These are all hand welded right here. This is just a very robust system, and it'd be very hard to defeat. And if you did defeat it, you'd make a lot of noise in the process. And at the end of the day, you probably would move on to an easier target. And that's kind of the goal of any locking mechanism. It's to kind of persuade people who are opportunistic to move on to an easier target. Now, I asked a question that I'm sure a lot of you are asking, and that is, what happens if you remove this set screw right here? Well, if you remove that set screw in an attempt to remove the cylinder while this is in place, all you're going to do is make your job even more difficult, because this thing's just going to spin in here. This does not release the locking mechanism by removing that set screw. You actually have to have this off in order for that to happen. All this does right here is it holds the cylinder and keeps it from spinning, and it keeps it essentially lined up. So if you take that out, you actually make your job a little bit more difficult, and it makes it even harder to get past if you're trying to access it. That being said, though, something like this, it's going to cost you about $250, but the level of security that you get with it, and it's more of a peace of mind thing, I think will pay off in the end. These are incredibly high quality. I always recommend that if you're going to be protecting something expensive, you do it with something that's relatively expensive. You do it with something that has more than just basic thought behind it, and you do it with something that's not specifically designed just to meet a budget. This is very, very well built. I'm very happy that I am going to be putting this on the pin box of this fifth wheel, and then this one's going to go on the pin box of the new fifth wheel whenever we get it. It's been delayed for quite some time. All that being said, though, this is really cool, and I definitely think it's going to add some peace of mind for me. So let's go outside. Let's get this thing mounted up so I can show you how it works. Okay, so we're out front. Sorry about the noise. The generator's a little loud, but this is the lock cylinder, or the lock that we're going to be putting on. This is your cylinder. Again, it is rekeyed to match the rest of my Abloy cylinders. All I have to do is put the key in, and when I twist it and turn, you'll see that port come out like that. I'm going to put it over the Kingpin, reinsert it, and there you go. Very, very cool, very convenient, very quick, and again, it's matched to my other locks now, so one key gives me the ability to come out to any of my trailers and get them set up. Very cool. And check that out. Not a lot of ways that you'd be able to really access it. You could try to pry on it, but this thing is very hefty. Overall, that looks absolutely great. And it looks intimidating. I mean, you see that on the front of a fifth wheel, you're probably going to move on to something easier. Guys, I will put a link in the description of this video if this is something you might be interested in. Again, I wanted to change it up a little bit. I don't only want to focus on one product because I know there's people out there who have probably looked at this and they wanted a review on it. They want to see how it fits, what it looks like, if you can get it rekeyed, if you can get it keyed to an Abloy cylinder, right? There's questions you may have, and it doesn't make sense for me just to say, hey, this is the one product I'm going to use every single time. Very well built product. It's a proven product from Proven Industries. I'll put a link in the description. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.